それもやっぱりそのボクシングっていうものが好きだから、なんかそのボクシングっていう、ステに行った時はもうそういうモード入っちゃうんじゃないですかね。
やっぱり、ボクシングが好きだから、もうそれが一番ですね。はい。このボクシングを盛り上げる、さらに発展していくための、大事な試合ではあるし、発展していくボクシングをやっぱりこれ以上人気をって考え
6、7、8、9、ラスト。
やっぱり今あるこの立場であったり、もちろん家族であったり、そういった、いろんなものが要因となって僕を今こう支えてると思うんですけど、その中で、今32歳になってなんかこう見えてくるものっていうのはやっぱり引退、いつかはやっぱり引退っていうものがもう見えてくる時期にはなってるので、じゃあその先に何をするかって考えた時に、やっぱりこう大橋会長のやっぱあと
Swing that body, swing that body, swing in, swing them hard, swing them punches in, swing them as hard as you can.
Okay.
These guys, after 12 rounds of fighting, they're not tired.
How would you describe your energy in this camp right now?
もう自分自身と向き合っていいトレーニングが積めてますし、ボクシング自体すごく成長できてる。
The next Manny Pacquiao, and the guy who's come closest to me is Inoue, the monster.
Inoue.
And you just asked me about Inoue. Are you a big fan of Inoue's?
Yeah, I like him. I like the way he fights.
Is he the closest thing to you? I'm not saying he's as great as you, but is he the closest thing to Pacquiao that we have in the game right now?
Oh yeah, I can say that. Closest to me, because about what the proper punches and techniques like that.
Well, he learned it well.
Yes.
Because he's been giving them the proper punching techniques.
Well, I told him that
Those four divisions.
The most important in boxing is footwork. When you have footwork, then you can do a lot of things.
Right. Is that what Freddie gave you when you got to wild card? Did that take your game to the next level, the footwork?
The footwork is the best.
Because before Freddie, you were in and out, and then with Freddie, you started giving him more angles,
side
right?
By side, yeah. Side by side. Head
And then
movement, head movement.
it was bad enough when it was just in and out with Manny. Once he started giving him angles, it was a problem. Manny, you spent 3.5 years away.
Manny Pacquiao is training Naoya Inoue, and what he's teaching the monster could completely change the biggest fight in boxing. This isn't just sparring sessions. This is legend-level knowledge being passed down.
いや、もうスイッチは入ってますよ。はい。で、結構本人の切り替えもうまいんですよ。やっぱりこう抜くとか抜いたりとか、疲れが溜まってるなっていう時はやっぱ自分に言ってきて、今日ちょっと抜いていいとか、やっぱ自分ですごいコントロールしてバランス取ってます。はい。ただ練習モードに入るともうガチッと入るんで、もうそこはもうしっかりもうスイッチは入ってます。もうそうですね。はい。もうこの27。でもそれをしっかりやることによって必ずつながると思うんですよ。ただ気持ちはもうこの27日、この目の前の試合だけですね。
The monster has destroyed everyone. 4 weight divisions, undisputed champion twice. But here's what nobody's talking about. Pacquiao sees something in Inoue that reminds him of his younger self. Speed, power, killer instinct. But there's a problem. Tim Bradley just exposed a massive flaw in Inoue's game. When he moves forward, he crosses his feet. Sounds small, it's not. That's how you get caught with counter shots. And his next opponent, he's a counter-punching assassin. Junto Nakatani is undefeated for a reason. His trainer calls him the best student he's ever worked with, better than every world champion he's coached. And get this, Nakatani's been bulking up his legs, sitting down on his punches more. Here's where it gets wild. Nakatani fights like a bow and arrow. He measures you with his jab, draws you in, then fires devastating counters from angles you don't see coming. It's surgical. And if Inoue keeps crossing his feet, he's walking right into it.
Junto's one of the best boxing students that I've ever met. You know, from the day one, he came to the gym with an open mind, and he's never questioned anything that we've ever done. He executes.
左手。純斗の他の選手と違うところは引き出しの多さなんじゃないかなっていう。純斗的にはあまり対戦相手に対しての対策っていうものをまあ少しはありますけど、まあ本人の能力を高めていくっていうトレーニング。
Lance Pugmire watched Nakatani's recent sparring and was blown away by his speed. Even with the added muscle, even with more power behind his shots, he's still lightning fast. That combination is absolutely terrifying for any opponent.
You remember that knockout that Nakatani did against Maloney? Yeah, man, something like that can happen. You know, I noticed that even though like Nakatani, he has a type of style where, you know, he's like, I don't know, it's like he's born like a bow and arrow. You know what I mean? Like you give a person a bow and arrow, and he pull that thing back and let released, and then, you know, then take off and run and try to hide behind something, you know, and pull that bow and arrow back and release. That's the style that, like, for me, Nakatani has. You know, he has that fencing type of style up front where he uses that lead hand to control distance and range and to, you know, win that lead hand battle, to be able to set up that bow and arrow back.
But here's the kicker. Pacquiao isn't just teaching Inoue power shots. He's drilling footwork, sharp angles, distance control, all the things that made Pacquiao impossible to hit cleanly. If Inoue can fix that defensive flaw, this fight changes completely.
And then Nakatani was a guy that's gonna beat anyway. And he has a damn good chance of beating him, man. It's gonna be, you're gonna have to catch Inoue offline. He has that offline shot that Inoue gets hit with quite often. You know, Carnitas was able to hit him with an offline shot. Neri was able to hit him and hurt him with an offline shot, man. And yeah, Nakatani, he has those offline shots, especially with that backhand. And he can walk him into it. You know, Inoue still has a bad habit of crossing his feet. He'll cross that lead foot. That's what happened when he fought against Carnitas. He crossed the front foot first. He stepped with the front foot to close the distance instead of the back foot to go right. And he brought his head closer to his opponent. That's the reason why Carnitas was able to, you know, go left and then swing back right with the left hook.
Carl Froch called Inoue virtually invincible at his peak. 4-division champion, clinical finisher. But even legends have weaknesses, and Nakatani's team has been studying that foot-crossing habit for months. They know exactly when it happens.
Inoue, the monster, is a 4-weight world champion. He's actually a 2-weight undisputed world champion. And is he unbeatable? Well, he looks unbeatable. And the fight ended at the start of round 7. Listen, Inoue is sharp, he's compact, he's got a nice tight defense, he blocks shots with his gloves, but he also got quick reflex slips, he slips back, he's on his toes. He's on his toes a lot when he's in range, but he walks in kind of flat-footed. He puts pressure on with his feet, walks in with that tight defense, and he looks solid. But I think with his speed and his counterpunch, his accuracy, and the fact that he's punching hard body and head and looking to counter most shots that come at him, he's just such a good fighter. I mean, he doesn't really put a foot wrong. He gets clipped with the odd.
The crazy part? Most analysts still favor Inoue by decision. They think his championship experience and ring IQ will carry him through. But what if Nakatani catches him clean early? What if all that Pacquiao training isn't enough to break old habits?
But I was also reading up on Nakatani, and there was a couple of reporters were at his most recent sparring session or his last sparring media session, and they noticed that his legs are much bigger. Like he's put a lot of time and effort into lower half strength, which means that he's going to want to sit down on his shots. He's going to want to end this, which I found pretty interesting as well. I mean, all fighters want to end fights, but it's just one thing that the Japanese media took from the media workouts.
That's interesting. Lance Pugmire from Boxing Scene, he went to watch Nakatani train with Rudy Hernandez, and he was amazed at his speed. He was really blown away. And Lance has been in the sport for a long time. He's been to a lot of camps. He's seen a lot of guys live. But like for him to say that a fighter's speed stuck out is meaningful to me. And so he's still got the speed, even though he's putting on weight in the lower half.
Here's what's really at stake. The winner doesn't just get a belt. They get pound-for-pound supremacy. Inoue's clinical destruction versus Nakatani's surgical precision. Power versus timing. Experience versus hunger.
So this is another one that's going to be neck and neck. I'm going off of Inoue because of the experience that he has and who he's done it with. You know, that Fulton destruction was a beautiful thing, and that was all boxing IQ. That was an IQ. That wasn't about speed. That wasn't about power. That was IQ, and he set everything up beautifully with the jab.
So here's my question for you. Drop it in the comments. Does Pacquiao's training fix Inoue's defensive flaw? Or does Nakatani's counterpunching end the monster's reign? If this breakdown opened your eyes to what's really happening, smash that like button and subscribe because this fight is going to be absolute madness.
I think we get a decision. I think we have some exciting moments. I think someone hits the deck, maybe both. But I think Inoue closes this fight strong and wins by UD.
Wow, both guys hit the canvas, then we have an all-time thriller.
Yes.
In this type of fight, which is being billed as the biggest fight in Japanese history, both guys hit the canvas. I'm also going with Inoue by majority decision.
Okay.
So they're going to be one scorecard that has Nakatani. I think Nakatani is going to be up for this fight, but ultimately I haven't seen any fall off for Inoue to say that he's going to lose this fight. He's going to do that hybrid where he is cautious but also powerful. I think he's going to find that perfect mix. He's just been on this stage a lot more than Nakatani. Inoue by majority decision with a really good fight, though. Really good fight. Inoue gets his hand.
So here's my question for you. Drop it in the comments. Does Pacquiao's training fix Inoue's defensive flaw, or does counterpunching end the monster's reign? If this breakdown opened your eyes to what's really happening, smash that like button and subscribe because this fight is going to be absolute madness. And here's something that'll blow your mind, been showing a now film of his fights against counterpunchers. Not just any counterpunchers. Juan Manuel Marquez, the man who dropped Pacquiao cold in their fourth fight. Why? Because Marquez fought exactly like Nakatani. Patient, calculating, deadly accurate. The parallels are insane. Marquez would let Pacquiao come forward, then time him perfectly with right hands over the top. Sound familiar? That's Nakatani's bread and butter. Except Nakatani's southpaw, which makes his left hand even more dangerous for orthodox fighters like Inoue. But get this, there's footage of Inoue working with Pacquiao on lateral movement. Side to side, not just forward pressure. We've never seen the monster fight this way. He's always been a seek-and-destroy missile. What if Pacquiao's teaching him to be more elusive, more unpredictable? Nakatani's coach revealed something huge in a recent interview. He said they've been drilling specifically for southpaw sparring partners who fight like Inoue. High pressure, come forward style. They've been preparing for this fight longer than anyone realizes. This isn't just opportunity for Nakatani, this is destiny. The betting odds are shifting too. Inoue opened as a massive favorite, but smart money is starting to trickle in on Nakatani. The professionals see something the casual fans don't. They see a tall, rangy counterpuncher with the perfect style to exploit Inoue's one weakness.